Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's video we have my everyday makeup drawer. Apologies for there being no video uploaded on Wednesday. I have been really poorly for the past week or so. I think it's been some kind of flu that I've come down with and I've only just kind of got my voice back. So I am a little bit croaky, but it's a million times better than it was. I'm hoping I'm not going to have to edit out too many coughs and kind of sniffles throughout the course of this video, because that will not be pleasant for you or me. Kind of glad that this was my next video scheduled so that I didn't have to kind of put some slap on and face the camera. I could just do it this way, so that was a nice way to ease me back into filming. Fingers crossed I am able to get a few videos filmed for next week. I'm still not feeling 100% to be honest, and I just don't know if I can face getting enough videos filmed to be able to do my 2 a week, but I'm going to see how it goes. But just in case that there may be only one video next week. But for today's video, I say we do have my everyday makeup drawer. I will go over all the items that I was using in the month of October, and then I will show you which items I've chosen from my kind of shop to my stash for my everyday makeup drawer for November. And if you stay tuned to the end, I will also be announcing the winner of my recent giveaway that ended last week, and that was my 2-year anniversary on YouTube. So stay tuned to the end for the announcements of the winner for that one. But let's get into this. I will start with primer for once, because I always forget the primer. Let me see, this is it. Yes, I always forget primer, so I'm quite proud of myself for remembering that. So this is the Cover FX Blaming. Oh, it's going to be one of those videos. This is the Cover FX Blaring Primer. This was, I think, a sample I got in Feel Unique. Decent sized sample. Have got a few uses out of it, but I do need quite a lot of product to cover my entire face. I do really like it, but probably no more than my Smashbox. I think it's the Photo Finish Primer. So it is nice, I just wouldn't repurchase it one. And now start the fireworks. For those of you who are watching not in the UK, we have Bonfire Night coming up on the 5th of November. People here tend to start setting fireworks off at least 2 weeks before, and they sound really loud. I don't know how loud they're going to show on the video. This is going great so far, and I've lost my train of thought. So yeah, I do really like this. It's just not as good as the Smashbox one. So I am actually going to take this one out for next month, as I did have one that I also received in Feel Unique that I want to put in for November. For foundations, I'll start first with the Flower Beauty Light Illusion, and I've got this in the shade Ivory L2. This is a nice foundation. I just haven't found myself reaching for it an awful lot this month, because I've been mainly using this one here. Nothing wrong with it, it's a really nice shade match and it is quite a nice finish. I think it kind of might be out of season for my personal preferences, because it is a bit more of a dewy finish. I do tend to prefer that in the summer months rather than the winter months. I do prefer more of a matte finish in the winter months. So I've not reached this an awful lot, but it's still a nice foundation and I will continue to use it in the summer. Then the other foundation we have is the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Hydrate Foundation. I have this in the shade F4. So I purchased this because I was quite a fan of the Conceal and Define foundation. It just wasn't perfect for me on certain parts of my face, being my forehead mainly. It just settled into fine lines terribly and I just did not like the way it looked. So when I seen they had a hydrate version, I thought I'd give it a go. And I have fell in love with this foundation. It gives me just the right amount of coverage that I want. It is a really nice shade match. That's why I was a bit disappointed that I didn't like the other one as much, because the shade match was so good. But really nice foundation, and I think I'm going to take this one forward to next month because I'm just enjoying using it that much. I have been pairing it with the Conceal and Define Concealer. I presume they brought out a hydrate version of this, which I would be quite intrigued to try, but I do really like this Conceal and Define version. I think it's because I'm not tending to apply it on my forehead, so I don't have any of the same issues that I do with the foundation. But I'm in the shade C4, so again, same as the foundation, it's a really nice match for me. I do tend to apply this to blemishes and any problem areas, so I like it being the same shade as my foundation. And even when I use this on days I'm not wearing foundation and use it as a standalone shade, it is a perfect shade match for me, so I do really enjoy using this. The other concealer that I have in here is the YSL Touche Eclat. I'm in the shade 1. This is the one that I use solely on my under eyes. Really love it, really love the shade. Just the right amount of coverage for what I need for under my eyes. It's more the shade and tone of it that I feel covers the dark circles that I have more than the coverage. But highly rated, even though it is quite a high-end bougie product, it's something I use every single day, so I definitely get my money's worth out of it. And the last one of these I had took me about a year to use, so I do highly recommend this. So it will obviously be going forward to next month. That concealer under my eyes, I use the e.l.f. Under Eye HD Setting Powder. So this is another product that I use every day because I do use it hand in hand with the YSL concealer. And I have had this one open for probably about a year as well. And we are down to the final dregs of it now. This is one that is in my project pan for 2019. If I don't get it finished by the end of the year, I'll be very, very surprised. I would like to think I can possibly get this finished by the end of November, but I'm definitely not going to hold my breath. But really recommend this. It's so affordable, and I do have another one there to go straight into once this one eventually runs out. So another setting powder that I've been using is the L'Oreal True Match, and this is one that I've had a kind of few ups and downs with. I don't know if you can see in this section here, but I do keep kind of getting hard pan on it. I thought I had cracked it with the type of brush that I was using it with, but the past couple of times I used it, I just couldn't get the look that I wanted, and I ended up with a bit more shimmer than I wanted. So I don't know if I've had this product a little bit too long now or what's going on with it, but I'm going to take it out for next month because the last couple of times using it was a bit too much hard work, but I will eventually pull it back in because I know I won't use it otherwise. For my highlighter, the everyday one I have is the Balm Mary Luminizer. I haven't been in a kind of highlighter mood in October, and I haven't reached for this every day. I've gone sometimes a few days at a time without putting highlighter on, and it hasn't really bothered me. I have always said that a highlighter is a step that I'm not overly bothered about, and if I did lose all the highlighters in my collection, I would not be bothered being able to apply it. I do apply it on a daily basis solely to use up the ones I have, so I haven't reached for this as much as I normally would do, but I'm going to keep this one going forward because it is a nice easy one to use. I've not got to think about how heavy I'm dipping into the pan and things to get the right amount of highlight that I like. And for bronzer, we have the Tarte Park Avenue Princess bronzer. Again, I was doing so well at the beginning of the month, remembering to apply this all the time, and then I kind of just fell by the wayside again. So I'm going to keep this one in going forward because when I do remember to use it, I do really enjoy it. It's a really nice tone to it. I like the way it looks. It's just, I forget. So I am going to take this one forward. But my other highlighter, we have the Wet n Wild Mega Glow, and this is in the shade Precious Petals. I do usually switch between this and the other one that I have, which I think is called Blossom something or other, but I've completely forgotten to bring that one over. So for pure laziness reasons, which I think was my reasoning last month as well, this one's going to stay forward to next month. It is a really nice blinding highlight, but I don't apply this all the time. It is something I only apply if I'm going out for a night out or something like that, but really nice and really affordable. Would highly recommend it if you do like that more of a blinding highlight. For blush, we have the Balm Frat Boy blush. This is definitely one of my favourite blushes. I really like the shade of this. I like how it goes on the cheeks and the longevity of it as well. It does keep that nice level of pigmentation on the cheeks for the majority of the day, and I do really like that it comes with a little mirror as well, and it's pretty travel friendly. So I will be carrying this one forward to next month just because I'm enjoying using it, and I know I should rotate it after a month or two, but I just can't seem to part with this one again. For my everyday blush, we have this Tarte Amazonian Clay blush in the shade Harmony, and I seem to have become a bit stagnant with the pan. To me, that doesn't look like it's got much bigger than when I was at this stage last month. So I'm going to keep going at it and see if I can eventually get this one finished. But I think because I'm kind of swirling my brush in the middle, I'm struggling to pick up as much product now because I do use quite a big blush brush. If I do struggle as much again this month, I'm probably just going to call it a day on this one because I'm happy to say I've definitely got my money's worth out of this and used it as much as I think I can. Plus, I've got about 4 other Tarte blush minis there that I can easily dig into, as well as a few Benefit minis that I probably do need to start using. But this is going to go forward to next month. To be honest, I think what I'll probably do is if it gets to the end of the year and I haven't finished it, I'll give up at that point, so at least I can say I've given it a good year. And then the eye primer I've been using is the Balm Priming is Everything. I don't know why I'm keeping it in this, because it's just one extra step to open it and really annoying. This is a kind of panned eyeshadow primer. I don't know what I'd actually call it. And it's a really nice primer. I do feel like it makes my eyeshadow last that little bit longer. I don't think it's quite as good as the Milani one. I do feel like that's a little bit better. The main reason why I think the Milani one's a little bit better is because of the type of consistency of this. It does occasionally make my eyeshadow skip, so I do have to blend it in that little bit longer. So I think, even though it's a really good primer, I think I'm actually going to take this one out for next month. Then for my brow products, we have the Benefit Goof Proof Brow Pencil. I'm in the shade 3. This is my everyday go-to brow pencil. I know what I'm doing with this one and can do my brows quite quickly, so we'll definitely be carrying this one forward to next month. I did also have the e.l.f. brow pencil, and this one is in the shade Taupe. Didn't reach this one as much this month as I did in the month of September, so I think I'm actually going to take this one out for next month and just use my goof proof one for now, because I can always pull this one back in. But I'm happy in the knowledge that I've used it that little bit more now. It is more of a finer tip than the goof proof one, so it does take a little bit longer to do the brows, and I think that's why I've not reached for it as much this month, because I seem to be in more of a rush trying to get ready in the mornings. Then I'll go over the eyeshadow palettes. I'll just start first with the setting spray. This is the Morphe Continuous Mist Setting Spray. Out of all the setting sprays that I have at the moment, this is definitely my favourite. I do have a problem with the sprayer itself, and I've said this in the past. I think I do have a slightly dodgy one in that it doesn't seem to spray as much as it did in the one I tried in the shop, and I do have to go quite close to my face. But I do think this genuinely makes my makeup last a little bit longer, and it does kind of meld the makeup to my face, so I'm going to continue using this one. Then we have the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. I felt like I had to put this one in this everyday makeup drawer, otherwise it was never going to get used. This was a palette that I predominantly used to take on holiday with me because of the hard exterior tin packaging and the fact that if it did break or go missing in transit, I wouldn't be overly bothered. And as suspected, I have struggled to use this one this month. I just feel so uninspired when I open it, which is so strange because I can open another palette that's got similar shades in it and I can know what to do. So I don't know if it's maybe the tone of some of these shades or the pigmentation level or the work. I just don't like this palette, and it hurts me to say because I know how much I spent on this. But I do feel like this is going to have to be one that I think is going to have to go in the next chopping block that I do, because I do need to make a decision one way or the other. Having it in here this month has made me realise that I am keeping it for the sake of keeping it because it was expensive. I noticed this month especially that these two bigger shades here are very dry feeling, and these are the kind of shades that, especially this one, that I will just tend to apply all over my lid as my shimmer shade, and I do feel like it is quite a dry formula. I don't know if it's always been that way or because it's a little bit older, but this isn't as old as my Urban Decay original Naked palette, and that doesn't seem to have gone that way, so it might just be this formula is a drier formula. So I'm definitely taking this out for next month, as with all the other eyeshadows palettes here, but I just need to make a decision one way or the other. Then we have the Ruby May Vibes palette. This and the IBY one here are both ones that I received from Tribe Beauty Box. This one is a really nice palette. It just scares me slightly, and to be honest, I've not used an awful lot of shades in it. I've probably only used Babe, Psychic and Glow. Really nice formula from what I've tried. Really nice shimmers, especially this gold. They are very bright shimmers. I think actually I did use the shade Rose one day. I think I did Rose as my crease shade and then put this as a kind of halo eye type thing. It didn't work out the best, but it was definitely a look that was more out my comfort zone brightness wise. It's a really nice palette to work with. I say it's just a lot brighter than I'm used to or comfortable working with, but I'm glad to have got it, and it did kind of push me out my comfort zone slightly, and it is one that I will reach for occasionally. Final palette is this IBY Beauty City Limits palette. This is the one I probably reach for the most this month, and I have really enjoyed using it. There are, as you can probably see by the names being worn off, a certain number of shades that I reach for a lot, being Glamping, Playlist and Nightfall. They are definitely the three that I've reached for kind of my everyday makeup looks. I really like the shade Silent Disco. That's one I've been applying in my Outer V. I've also used the shade Road Trip a few times and VIP when I've wanted a slightly redder look than this one, because this one's like a brownie red. The shades here, being Fire and Ice, Light Show and Dance Party, are all kind of like duochromes, especially Fire and Ice. Really nice shade. They're just quite dark and I don't tend to do smoky eyes very often. Out of the 12 shades, I think there's only 2 that I've not touched at all. Everything else I've touched at least once. And it's a really nice formula. It blends really easily, and they do have pretty good lasting power as well. So I'm really glad that I did actually decide to crack into this palette and not just pass it on, which I did think at the beginning, because I thought the shades might be quite dark, but they are just really nice, and I would be tempted to try something else by this brand in the future. The other eye product I've got is this BH Cosmetics eye lights, and this is in the shade BFF, which as you can see is a silver colour. I did pick this up on a whim when I was trying to spend a certain amount with BH Cosmetics to get a free gift, but I was intrigued to give it a go after trying a similar kind of thing from Essence and quite liking that one. I don't know why I didn't go for a more neutral shade than silver, because I don't tend to wear silver eyeshadow an awful lot. It is a very bright silver, but it is very nice and it does apply to the lid quite easily. It does come with a doe foot applicator, but I do have a kind of flat brush that I use for both this one and the Essence one. If I had to compare, I would say I slightly prefer the Essence one, but that could be more down to the fact that that's a gold colour, and for me it's more wearable, whereas this, because it is bright silver and it does stand out quite a lot, I feel like this is more going to be for on a night out only kind of thing. But really nice formula. It does have a bit more fallout than the Essence one. I did notice that I did have glitter further down my face by the end of the day than I did with the other one, so I probably wouldn't purchase another one of these, whereas I might be tempted to purchase another Essence one. Mascaras. First we have the Essence Lash Princess. I think this is my favourite Essence mascara. It's definitely my favourite Lash Princess out of the 3 or 4 I think they have. Really like this one, and I did think I had more left in this than I did, but this one's pretty much gone now and I've used it all up, so I will be putting this one in the bin. Next we have the Benefit Bad Girl Bang mascara. This is another one that I really rate, probably my favourite Benefit mascara, and I do find it quite comparable to the Essence one. If I had to choose between the two of them for price wise, I'd probably pick the Essence one, because it's about less than £5, whereas this little mini is about £10. I think using them side by side this month did kind of cement the fact for me that I do prefer the Essence one ever so slightly. So I need to check if I have another one of these in my backup drawer. I might have a full size, but I think once I've used that full size, I don't think I'm going to purchase these again. I think I'm just going to continue to purchase the Essence ones because it's so much more affordable and it gives me the same effect. I've kind of fell out of love with it now, having directly compared it with the Essence one. So if I had a choice, I would go for Essence. We have this Marc Jacobs Velvet Noir mascara. It's quite a nice mascara, but once this mini is completely empty, it's not one I'd think about repurchasing because I do believe it is quite pricey. I do like the way this fans my lashes out. It does separate them as well as give them length and a bit of volume. But I think I've got a tiny bit left in this, so I'm not going to take it forward to next month, but I'm just going to probably throw it in my handbag and try and get it used up so I don't waste it all with it being such a high-end product. Then we have the Colourpop BFF Volumizer Mascara. This is in the shade Black on Black. I'm kind of on the fence with this one. I'll use it one day and think I really like it, but then I'll use a different one the next day and think maybe this wasn't so great. I don't think I would repurchase it, but it is nice to use while I have it, if that makes sense. It is quite bad for smudging after a long time, I will admit, but all the other mascaras that I've tried this month, I can go the whole day without smudging at all, but usually after a full day this does tend to give me slight panda eyes, and if I don't fully remove it the night before, I definitely wake up with panda eyes the next day, whereas again the other ones that doesn't always happen with. So it's a nice mascara, it's alright for the price you pay for it, but again Essence just knocks it out the park. And then the final mascara is this CoverGirl Exhibitionist mascara. This is one that I got the shade Black Brown in by accident, and it is such a shame because I do really like the effects of this mascara. It's just not dark enough on my lashes, so I don't like the overall look of it because of that. For that reason I've not reached for it an awful lot. I was going to take this out for next month, but I'm thinking I might keep it in. Just need to use it when I'm going to work and I don't need the big dramatic lashes, and I can just get away with a kind of more muted mascara look. Otherwise it's not going to get used and it is going to be such a waste. So I wasn't going to, and I don't usually carry mascaras forward, but I think I'm going to take this one forward to next month. For eyeliner, we have the Colourpop liquid liner. This is the black one, which is the shade Numero Uno. This is a felt tip liner, which is quite stiff to use and it's slightly drier than ones I tend to like. I've realised now I do like more of a brush tip liner. Not much in it, I'm quite happy to use a felt tip liner, but I do ever so slightly prefer a brush tip liner. I was going to take this one out for next month, but I do want to use it up because it's been open for quite a while, and to be honest I haven't reached for it an awful lot anyway. I've only reached for it a handful of times. I think I'm going to take it forward to next month because I'm not going to reach for it much anyway, because I'm not in an eyeliner phase at the moment and I haven't been for the past couple of months. I think maybe over the summer months it's just too much of an effort, so now we are getting to the colder months I might be more inclined to use it. Now on to lip products. First one we have is this Wet n Wild liquid catsuit. This is in the shade Rebel Rose. I absolutely love the shade of this lipstick. It is a kind of mauvey pink Your Lips But Better shade. I just have a slight issue with the formula. It's a super comfortable formula. I just find that I do have to repeatedly dip back into the tube to get enough to coat my lips. It always comes on as a thin layer originally, so you do have to build up quite a bit to get that level of pigmentation, which I don't mind. But I found towards the end of this month that I've had to dip back into the tube a lot more than usual, as if it's drying out. And I know I have used it quite a lot, but I wouldn't have thought I'd have finished it yet. I think I've probably actually had these Dose of Colours minis around the same time as I've had these, and they've probably had equal use. Yes, okay, these are starting to dry out now, but these are only minis, and so I can't understand why it is kind of drying out already. I still like it, and I actually purchased a different shade one because I do like the formula and how comfortable it is and things, but I just can't put my finger out why it's dried out so quickly. As with all these lipsticks, I am going to take them out for next month, but I just wanted to mention that because I thought it was a bit strange. If anyone else has come across that, let me know. And then speaking of these Dose of Colours ones, we have the shade Catching Feelings and the shade Heartbreaker. I really like the formula of these. This was a set of 4 that I purchased. The other 2 shades in that set were Stone and Truffle, which I do prefer the shades of compared to these. This shade is a bit too nudie brown shaded for me. It doesn't quite suit me, I don't think. This one's nice, but it's just that little bit darker. So these aren't my personal preferences when it comes to shades, but formula wise I really like the formula, and I would consider purchasing a full size of either Truffle or Stone. They did run out on me a couple of months ago. I can definitely tell I've not reached for these ones as much because these still do have a little bit of product left. Again, something that I might throw in my handbag actually just to finish off. For some reason my camera has annoyingly just turned itself off when I was mid-sentence and had already gone through half of these lipsticks before I realised. So this video is definitely against me. So, completely lost my train of thought. Hope I'm going to remember everything I said. But I'll start with this lipstick here, which is the Miracle Matte Lip from Flower Beauty. This is in the shade Rosewood, and out of all the lipsticks that I was using over the course of October, this is definitely my most reached for. I've been loving using this because it's such a really nice autumnal shade. It is a really dark, deep pink colour with kind of orangey nude undertones, if that makes any sense. Probably describing it completely wrong, but nonetheless it is an absolutely gorgeous shade. I love the formula of these as well. It is quite a thick formula, so you do only need a thin layer of it, but it doesn't take much product to cover both lips and with a decent amount of pigment as well. It is a kind of, if you use the right amount of it, a more, I'd say, pillowy feeling on the lips. It doesn't feel heavy, and even when it does dry down, it doesn't completely dry down. It's like an uncomfortable dry. It just stays really comfortable throughout the course of the day, and it's one of those that you don't notice it fading away because it does so, considering it's a darker shade, quite gracefully and really comfortably. I just don't feel any of that dryness as it gets towards the end of the day, as obviously my lips do get drier. But highly recommend this formula, and once I've used up some more of my lipsticks, I would definitely consider purchasing another one of these in a different shade. And whenever I do get to the bottom of the shade, I will be repurchasing this shade as well, because it is such a nice shade and pretty affordable as well. Then we have this Tarte Colour Splash lipstick, and this is in the shade Surfs Up. I have reached for this quite a lot this month, probably not as much as the Flower Beauty one, as I've just said, but I am getting down there, and I'm actually now struggling to apply this without getting it everywhere. I don't actually have a lip brush, which I was intending to use to get the full extent of this product, but I'm just going to have to do as best I can, because this is the one that is in my project pan and I do want to desperately get finished before the end of the year. So this one is obviously getting carried forward so I can get it finished up, but I think I'm making really good progress on this. It's a really nice shade for this time of the year anyway, and it is really comfortable, and considering it is just a bullet lipstick, it does last a decent amount of time. Then we have this Makeup Forever mini, and this is in the shade, I don't know if that's C211, it's an Artist Rouge Cream. This is a really nice pink shade. I've not used it an awful lot, if I'm honest, because if I've not been kind of reaching for the Tarte one, I've been using the Flower Beauty one. So it is a nice lipstick, a nice shade. Maybe something that's a bit more summery, comfortable, lasts an okay amount of time, but just taking this out for next month because I do have more to put in as usual. The final one we have is this Sugar Coat from the Sugar Rush range of Tarte, and this was just a little mini, and it was in the shade Cake Pop. This was kind of a weird consistency. It was very, very thin, and it went on really sheer and did require quite a lot of building up. I think I've used this 3 or 4 times at this point, and I don't think I've probably got one more use left if I'm lucky, because it does take quite a lot of product to build up any colour on the lips. It is a really comfortable formula. It's similar to the Flower Beauty one in that it's kind of pillowy, and it does end up looking like a sort of blotted lip without needing to blot it. So it is quite an interesting formula, and I would be possibly intrigued to try a full size one with needing a lot of product. I don't know how much you should get out of it, but it was nice to be able to try it, and it does actually smell like a cake pop as well, so it's really nice to use. It's probably more aimed at teenagers. I just got this as a kind of point and peck thing, but it was nice to try it, and definitely not the worst liquid lipstick I've ever tried. So that is it. The pot is empty, so I'm just going to fill it back up with the things that I'm taking forward from October to November. I will go over the new complexion products that I'm bringing in. The first one is this By Terry Hyaluronic Hydra Primer. This is one that I did get as a sample from Feel Unique. I've only used it once so far, and I did actually use it with a different foundation to this, and it worked pretty well, so I'm intrigued to see how it performs with this one. Although I'm hoping I don't fall in love with it, because this is quite a pricey primer. I think it comes in at about £40. But while I've got the sample, I might as well try it and see what it's like. Another foundation that I'm putting in is this Catrice HD Liquid Camouflage Concealer. This is one where I can't decide if the shade matches right for me or not. I really like the formula of this. It is a more mattifying foundation, which I do prefer in the more winter months. If I'm honest, I'm probably not going to reach for it an awful lot because I've been loving this one so much. But I thought I'd put the option in there, especially having a hydrating primer. It'd be good to test it with a hydrating foundation and also a matte foundation. So that's probably one of the main reasons why I'm putting it in here, but I would happily just keep using this one all month. Let's see how much I actually use the Catrice one. I'm bringing back in my Colourpop No Filter Concealer. As you can see, I have made a decent dent on this. I've probably used just under half, and I am in the shade Light 16, which I think is a pretty good shade match for me, so just wanting to give this one some more love. For setting powder, I'm going to bring in this one from the brand May, which I hadn't heard of before, and this is a banana setting powder with added hyaluronic acid. I think this was one that I got in the last glossy box that I received, so keen to give it a go. Don't know where I stand with banana powders, might be a bit too yellow toned for me, but we'll see. Then for my eyeshadow primer, I'm going to stick back in the trusty Milani eyeshadow primer. I've had this for such a long time now, and it just doesn't seem to be getting near the end, but I haven't used this for a good while, so I'm keen to give this one some more love. Eyeshadow palettes. First one I'm going to bring back in is the BH Cosmetics Royal Affair palette. I haven't used this for a good few months, and this is a really nice palette. It does have the more darker shades I am more inclined to reach for at this time of the year, and it has one of my favourite pink shades in here because it's just such a nice muted pink, and I do like incorporating that into a more neutral eye look for the rest of it. but quite a lot of nice shades in here and excited to use this one again. We have the Juvia's Place Nubian palette. This is definitely one of my favourite eyeshadow palettes, especially for my kind of everyday makeup look. I know to most people they probably say this is a boring eyeshadow palette. I see so many different looks in this when I open it, and I've not yet been uninspired by it. So excited to have this one back again. I'm really hoping that Juvia's Place do a 50% off Black Friday sale like they did last year, because I could definitely consider picking up another one because I do really like their formula, but keen to be able to use this one again. Final palette I'm pulling in is the Colourpop Ooh La La palette. It's quite a bright palette and possibly more summery, but because I've got two kind of darker and more neutral palettes, I thought I needed to put something a bit brighter in there. Plus I didn't love this palette. This shade Tickled here, as you can see, has been kind of well used, but it is also a shade that goes everywhere. This is before they were putting the pressed glitters in all of their palettes, but this one, not far off it to be honest. It's quite chunky and does go a bit everywhere. Other than that, I did struggle with this palette, if I'm honest, but the good thing with that is it did put me off buying any of the £9 ones, which were a blessing in disguise. So I haven't reached this one in a good while, so I feel like I need to just use this one a bit more again. And then after using the BH Cosmetics liquid eyeshadow, I thought to bring back the Essence one because I did really enjoy using that. For mascaras, I have the L'Oreal Lash Paradise mascara. This doesn't have an awful lot left in it, so I'm hoping I can get this finished up this month because it's probably coming towards the end of its life. And my friend recently picked one up while she was in the States for me, so I'm very glad to have another one to go into. Then we have this Maybelline Snap Mascara. I think this is my second tube of this. I got this in a subscription box. It might have been Latest in Beauty. Didn't hold that much hope for it, but actually did really enjoy using it. And I think I've seen it on offer in Superdrug not that long ago, so I picked up another one. Then have a mini Big Ego mascara from Tarte. This one has such a small wand, but a full-size applicator, which is good to see for such a small sample. But I've heard such great things about this one. I wanted to try it for myself, and I think this was either a point perk or it was part of a gift set that I ordered. It might have been part of a gift set, but keen to give it a go and see what I think. I've not had an awful lot of luck with other mascaras from Tarte that I've tried, but I'll see if this one can change my opinion. The one is this one from Monica Dar, I think it is. It did say, there we go, Monica Dar. This one's still in cellophane. I got this one in a glossy box quite a while ago, but just never got around to opening it. Really intrigued by the packaging, but just as I say, never got around to open it, so thought I best give it a go before it goes out of date. So that's why this one's in here this month. Then on to lip products. First one is this Stila Stay All Day, and this one is in the shade Patina. It's an okay liquid lip, definitely not my favourite formula, but I just need to make a final decision whether I want to use it up, whether I like the shade enough, and whether I like the formula enough, to be honest. So that's why this one's in here. And then we have a Smashbox Be Legendary lipstick, and this one is in the shade Fig. This one is slightly darker of a shade than I usually wear, but I thought surely November's the perfect time for that. But if I do wear it a couple of times and I'm not comfortable in the shade itself, then I will definitely just part ways with this one. Then we have the Huda Beauty liquid lipstick, and this is in the shade Venus. Haven't reached this one in a while, so I thought I'd pull this one back in. Same with this one. This is a NYX liquid suede, and this is not got a shade name. Soft Spoken. And then we have this Sephora Lip Stories. This one is in the shade, I don't know if it's just New York, because that's like the New York skyline on there, but it is a really nice reddy brown shade, and I thought that was perfect for this time of year. Plus I haven't reached this in a long time, so wanted to give this one more love. I have brought in a couple of new lip products. The first one being a lip liner. This is a Colourpop lip liner in collaboration with I Love Sarah E, and it is in the shade 951. I don't tend to wear lip liner, if I'm honest. It's kind of a step I can do without. But I was thinking, because especially this NYX one, I'm pretty sure it is a liquid lipstick, that it's a bit harder to kind of keep in the line. So I thought having a lip liner on might help with that. We'll see whether I can actually be bothered to apply lip liner especially on my limited time scale of a morning. The next lipstick is one of the new Maybelline Superstay ink crayons, and this one's in the shade Lead the Way. The Superstay matte ink liquid lipstick formula is definitely one of my favourite liquid lipstick formulas out there, so I wanted to see what this one was like in comparison with it being a crayon lipstick, but I thought it was quite a nice neutral shade. They did have a couple I was torn between that were very similar, and I do like the fact that it also comes with a sharpener at the bottom. These are normally £10, but at the time I purchased this, Superdrug were doing 2 for £12, so rather than pick up two, which I didn't need, I did actually persuade my mum to pick one up, and she got the shade 25, I think it is, which is a slightly darker, more pinky version of this, more mauve toned. So I'm keen to see what her thoughts are on that one, and I need to remember to tell her about the sharpener at the end because I don't think she knows about that. But excited to give it a go, see if I like it as much as the liquid lipstick version. So that's the makeup that I'm going to be using throughout the course of November. Quite happy with the selections that I've made, and I've just noticed when my camera cut off, I've not moved the camera correctly, so you've been able to see the corner of my throat. My camera wasn't set properly and it was off centre, so that was probably really annoying, I'm sorry. Now, as promised, I want to announce the winner of my recent giveaway, and that was Jean Norton. So congratulations, Jean. Apologies I've not had a chance to send your prize to you yet. As I say, I've been unwell and not been at the house an awful lot, so I will definitely get that down the post office to you as soon as I possibly can, and it will be winking its way over to you. So congratulations again to Jean, and thank you for everyone that entered the giveaway. So that's it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already. Thanks.